This fake HOA cop set my car on fire with my son still inside!
I came home to the smell of gasoline and the sight of my son trapped in our burning car. A man in a fake uniform stood by, holding the can. The flames were already climbing the door panels. My boy, Liam, was pounding on the glass from inside, his face a mask of pure terror. The man watched, calm, a dark vest with HOA cop across his chest. An empty gas canister sat at his feet. "Should have listened to the notices," he said, his voice flat. I didn't hear anything else. The world narrowed to the fire, the car, my son. Before we go further, let me know where you're joining us from. Comment your country below. To understand this act of cruelty, you need the history. I'm Ben Carter. I'm a fighter, not the flashy kind, the disciplined kind. It's how I provide, especially since my wife passed. We moved here for a fresh start, for normalcy. The HOA, led by a woman named Diane Shaw, had other ideas. They didn't like my profession. They didn't like that Liam was quiet, that he kept to himself. They saw difference as defiance. The so-called security officer, a man named Greg, took a particular interest in my son. "Kids need watching," he'd say, his gaze lingering too long. I complained. The board called me confrontational. Then the violations started. Excessive noise from a silent house, unsightly vehicle for my work truck. I paid the fines, seeking peace. The final notice demanded I remove a shed I used for training equipment, a shed that was fully permitted. I refused. 2 days later, I found my SUV in flames with Liam inside. This was never about a shed. It was a message. And Greg, with his gas can, was the delivery man. He believed his vest made him untouchable. He was about to learn how wrong he was. I don't remember the sprint across the lawn. I remember the searing heat as I grabbed the blistering door handle and wrenched it open. Smoke billowed out. Liam was choking, his seatbelt jammed. "Dad!" "I've got you," I growled, my voice foreign to my own ears. I tore the belt apart with my hands, hauled him out, and stumbled back onto the grass, clutching his shaking body. He was coughing, his arms red from the heat, but he was alive. Behind us, the fire roared. In front of us, Greg stood, still wearing that vacant, confident stare. A switch flipped inside me. The world lost all color, all sound, except for a high-pitched ringing. I set Liam down gently. "Stay right here." I stood and turned. Greg finally saw my face. His smirk faltered. "Now let's not—" I closed the distance. My first punch landed square on his jaw. The impact was solid, final. He dropped like a sack of stones, his head bouncing off the driveway. He tried to rise, dazed. I didn't give him the chance. I hauled him up by his vest and hit him again and again. There was no technique, only force, a piston driven by a singular thought. My child in a fire because of you. Bone cracked. He gurgled, going limp. I drove a fist into his ribs, feeling them give. He collapsed, motionless. Hands pulled at me, neighbors' voices frantic. "Ben, stop! He's done!" I staggered back, my knuckles bloody, my breath ragged. The red haze receded. I turned and went back to Liam, folding him into my arms as the sirens began to wail. The fire department doused the car. Paramedics descended on Greg. Their assessment was quick, muttered. Multiple facial fractures, probable broken jaw, likely internal injuries. They loaded him into an ambulance, his fate sealed. An officer approached me, his demeanor cautious. I told him everything. My voice scraped raw. Liam, wrapped in a blanket, nodding along, his small hand in mine. The investigation was mercifully straightforward. Greg never regained consciousness. He lingered in a coma, his body broken, but his silence was not an escape. Detectives searched his home. They found the evidence, emails from Diane Shaw urging definitive action, photos of our house and my son, and a final text sent an hour before the fire. He didn't comply. Proceed. Diane Shaw was arrested before sundown. The charges were severe: conspiracy to commit attempted murder, arson, child endangerment. Her empire of petty rules crumbled overnight. Greg was charged in absentia, attempted murder, aggravated arson. He received a life sentence, a verdict delivered to a hospital bed. There is no authority that justifies terrorizing a child. Liam healed. The nightmares come less often now. He still jumps at loud noises, but he also laughs. That laugh is my victory. Now, when I pass the spot where my SUV burned, I don't feel rage. I feel a cold, hard certainty. They mistook quiet strength for weakness. They mistook a father's love for a limit they could push. They used the cheapest form of power, fear, against the most vulnerable target they could find. And in doing so, they awakened the very thing they sought to intimidate. The deepest fury is born not from hate, but from a violated love. This was not an HOA dispute. It was an atrocity, and the response was not violence for its own sake, but the absolute, uncompromising defense of an innocent life. If you believe in protecting the defenseless and holding corrupt power to account, show your support. Hit the like button for Winds of Thought. It ensures stories like this are not forgotten.